are going to be close to 22 to 24 billion, which is an increase of 20% compared to last year. Now, if you take 22 billion, that is a huge amount which is also accruing to the economy. But exporters, except for withholding tax of 1%, are also exempt from tax. So you have a situation where the people in the private economy are getting increased incomes because of all these price rises, but the part which should be captured by the government is just zilch, is zero. Then you have all the informal sector, the undocumented economy. How many boutiques you know in Lahore? How many beauty salons you know in Lahore? How many tuition centers you know in Lahore? How many laboratories you know in Lahore which have come up? And there are a lot of restaurants and businesses which are not paying even a single penny of tax. So you have a situation where there is prosperity among the informal, undocumented economy, receivers of remittances, of the rural areas, of those people who are able to adjust their incomes. But the government is at brink that they have to borrow either externally and they have to borrow internally, pushing up the interest rates to where they are. So unless we as a nation decide that irrespective of what our source of income is, anybody who gets a 3 lakhs of rupees, that is the threshold. As a salaried person, everybody knows that if my income is 3 lakhs of rupees, I have to file taxes and I have to pay taxes. It's a graduated scale, but at least why is it that only a small proportion of the people are obligated to pay taxes, while the rest of the country criticizes the government, finds all kind of faults with the government, which is not unjustified, I'm not defending, but you're not fulfilling your basic civic duty as a citizen of Pakistan, whichever government it may be, irrespective. It is your patriotic civic duty that you must pay whatever is your due to the government. Otherwise, it will come to haunt you in a roundabout manner. And the roundabout manner is inflation. And when you have inflation, there are again people who are winners, who can protect themselves against the inflation, and there are the losers, and the poor segments of the population is the worst off. The crime rates, the mobile snatching, the thefts, even in your houses where servants have been working for you, domestic servants have been working for you for 10, 15 years, and now I hear the story that वो तो सारी जवाहरात लेकर, jewelry लेकर, cash लेकर भाग गया. Why is it? Because the inequities are actually widening. That you see a driver of yours waiting up to 1 o'clock in the morning for you to take you home, gets only 8,000 rupees. And he sees that we spend few lakhs of rupees at a party at our house. So we are willing to do this. We are willing to consume for our ostentatious living, but we avoid paying those due taxes obligations, which we ought to do that. And then we keep on saying, ये corrupt government है, कोई फायदा नहीं होता है, कोई expenditure नहीं होता, तालीम का हाल ये देखो, सेहत का हाल ये देखो, हर चीज कैसे होगा? आप किसी को भी ले आए, उसको 9 पैसे देंगे आप अपनी इनकम से, वो कभी कुछ नहीं कर सकेगा. That is the reality. And I'm sorry, I have to tell you the truth. Because we keep on blaming everybody but not blame ourselves. Let us try to do whatever we can do in our own sphere of business. We don't conceal incomes. We don't go to the customs and say कि यार ये 15% की ड्यूटी है, इसका स्लैब जो है वो 5% में डाल दो, ये इतने पैसे तुम मुझसे ले लो. You know how much money we are losing through the Afghan transit trade, through this misclassification, and through these kind of malpractices which are taking place? Huge amounts of money which are undermining the competitiveness of your domestic industry. These are goods which are coming into the country without paying a single penny except the bribe to the customs officials or to the other people. While your industries have to pay sale tax, they have to pay excise duties, they have to pay the workers' welfare fund, workers' profit sharing, everything. How can they compete with them? But some of you would know about this, that this is the source of leakage, which is undermining your businesses. Finally, I would like to answer a question which was raised. What are we going to do with everything is so bad? I can still tell you that you are making 20-25% returns on average. If you increase the productivity of your labor, if you do the cost cutting, not by firing people, but by using better human resources, better technology, better organization and methods and systems, your profits with an existing business can go up to 40%. This is where you come in at the CFOs. Don't cut expenditures on R&D, on human resources, on technology. Cut expenditures on waste or inefficiencies or poor organizational methods, but do preserve those value enhancers which will keep your business going in the future. Don't be penny wise and pound foolish. That because the company is not making the threshold rate of return, the first thing you do is to X your workers, you cut down your research and development expenditure, or you don't invest in technology. Because that way, you're actually making sure that in future, you will always remain uncompetitive. You will remain second-rate company rather than the first-rate company. So I hope that I have tried to answer some of the questions and reservations which I heard this morning at the panel discussion and from your questions. But I'm not sure that I've been able to convince many of you, but at least I have given you food for thought so that you can reflect upon it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm certainly convinced. And all these taxes and everything, I'm most definitely convinced. May I please request Mr. Mujahid Ishahi, who's a past president of ICAP, to join me on stage and help us give a token of thanks and appreciation to Dr. Ishrat Hussain. There's obviously a lot of opportunity for debate and a lot of questions, and I do believe